Hi there, it's Tyson from Hello Code World. In this tutorial, I will show you how to create amazing layouts with CSS Flexbox. Flexbox is one of the most powerful and easy to use tool to create amazing layouts. But first, we need to master few things to use it efficiently. Let's learn what is the Flex container and Flexbox items first. The container is the parent element that is holding everything together. And the children are the direct children, the items are the direct children of that parent container. After we choose the container in the CSS and set the display property to flex, we are able to use the Flexbox power on the children. I will explain to you how we can apply the Flexbox properties on the children to position them in a minute. But before, I want to explain to you the main axis and the cross axis as well. Main axis is basically the direction of the flex direction property in Flexbox, which is by default it is set to row. That's why in this example, all the children are positioning themselves from in the x-axis direction from left to right, and it is which is the main start from main start to main end. If we set the flex direction to row reverse, what will happen is the main axis is going to just will go completely the opposite direction, and as a result the children are going to also position themselves in the reverse direction. And also we have the column and the column reverse options, which will set the position of the children in the y direction. And the cross axis is the perpendicular axis to the main axis. And those two are quite important to understand how the Flexbox is functioning. After we set the display property to the flex in the flex container, we are allowed to use the Flexbox rules on that container. We can apply those rules in the container level or on the items level. Let's begin with on the container level applications first. The first property you can apply in the container is the justify content. You can select from those values like the flex start. What it will do, for example, it will take all the children of the flex box and place them in the start position. The start position is the position where the main axis is starting from. If it is row, it will be in the left side, remember. And by default, that's how it is. And then we have the flex end that will take the children to the end of the container, and the center, it is used a lot to center all the children in the flex box, and space between and space around. You can see how it is affecting the spacing between the children. Just play around with it, you will see much better. Now, and also we have the space evenly. Then we have the align items. Well, when the justify content is placing the children in the direction of the main axis, align items is going to place them in the cross axis direction, in the perpendicular direction to the main axis. And by default, remember what was the values? It was the row, right? Like the flex direction. So that's why I start here with the flex start in the left side of the box. And here it is the align items value. If it is flex start, again, it will be in the beginning of the cross axis direction, which is on the top. And the children is going to be in the flex end like so. And we have the stretch. This is the default value. All the children are going to try to fit in the box, and they are going to stretch. And we have the baseline that is going to basically align everything in the best baseline of the content of the children. And we have the center value here as well. With a hands-on example, let's check the Flexbox on VS Code. I have my index.html open with the live server. Now in the HTML file, I'm going to create a container. I give the class name container, and it's going to be a div. And now let's create the Flexbox items. The children of the container is going to be. So I will create some cards like so. Let's do like card, and that's going to be the card one. And I will copy this 3 times. Okay, we have 3 cards. In style.css, as I have already mentioned in the diagram, we are selecting the container. The class name was container. And here now I need to convert the container into a flexbox. To do so, I will select the display property and set it to the flex. Now you can see all the cards are now in the row direction, because remember, the flex direction by default was the row. To see everything better, maybe it's better to style the cards now. So that all the cards has the card class. Here I'm going to give them some width and the height and a background color. We can also apply the flex on the cards too, but I'm not going to do this right now. So let's take this away. Okay, we can still apply the border radius though. Okay. And I want to give the background color to some kind of blue color here. That looks good. Okay, now if I want to um, give them some spacing between the cards, you can see that because of the margin, we already have spacing. So I'm going to remove the margin. And how we can use the Flexbox to create some space between the cards. Now, if I just open like that, and actually let me just reduce the width and the height of the cards. Maybe instead go with 100. Height is okay, fine. It can stay. If I select the developer tools here, and I will give the container a background color as well, so we can see better, much easier what's going on. A background color, and the background color is going to be kind of yellow. Okay. This is our container, and all the divs by default, right? If we don't give them any width and anything in the class, they are going to cover the entire width, the screen width. And because the width of the cards in total is only 300 pixels, I still have in the container this empty spacing. Okay. And by default, remember from the diagram, justify content was the flex start, which means that all the children of the flex box, which is the card 1, card 2, card 3, are in the beginning of the container. And they are only covering 300 pixel space. The rest is empty. Let's go and apply the justify content here in the container. Justify content was a property we can apply only on the container. When I set this to the center, let's see what's going to happen. Okay, voila. All the children are in the center now. And how the Flexbox is functioning, you can see it's calculated the empty space in the container, and when you set the proper to the center, it is dividing that space to the two equal side and placing the children to the center by giving that spacing to the left and right equally. So the Flexbox is working on how much empty space we have in the container, calculating that and sharing that space um, depending on what you are choosing as your value to the justify content if we are in the main axis direction. And let's just go and select something else. For example, if I was selecting justify content instead of center, something else, space around. Let's go by the space around. Now we have the equal spacing between the around the cards. Let's say 1 unit spacing here and 1 unit spacing here. And 1 unit spacing in the card 2 is created around of the card 2, and another unit created in on the card 2 in the right side. And the same goes by the card 3. So space around, what it does is when it is giving the space between the flex children, it is creating equal spacing around of every child, and that is causing between the children 2 unit spacing, twice as much as what they have between the ages. And what if we don't have any extra space left inside of the flex box? There won't be any positioning. You cannot position if the children are already covering the entire flex box. We need to pay attention to that. Now, I want to go back to justify content to center. And now, okay, what you want to do is to take the cards into center, but also you want to create some controlled spacing between the card 1, card 2, card 3. And sometimes you don't want to use the margin for that because you don't want just to create another space on the left side of the card 1. It's difficult to control with the margin. You need to extra class, you might need an extra class to control where you want to place that spacing exactly. So we have in the Flexbox a property called gap, and in the container again you can set the gap, for example, to 10 pixels. What will this do is it's going to create 10 pixels spacing between the flex children, easy as that. Like just by 2 lines of a code you can center all of your cards, and then you can just give some spacing between them. We also have the align items property. Align items were positioning the elements in the cross axis direction. Right now, because I didn't change the direction of the main axis in the row direction, and it's from left to right. And if I apply the align items, what is going to happen? Let's see. And align items also has the value of the center. If I want to center all the items in the y direction, um, that makes sense that I will just set the align items to the center, but nothing is working. Why? Because right now all the flex children are taking the entire space of the container in the perpendicular direction, in the y direction. There is no extra space to center them, correct? And if I want to take them to the center, which makes sense that if I need to set the div, the parent div height larger than the height of the children. And let's do that. I will give an height of here 100 VH viewport height, 100 viewport height to the container. Now you can see the align items is also working. Everything is nice and centered. Can we apply the Flexbox more than once? Of course you can. Now, let's imagine this layout. We have the container and the children, okay? And also you can see that every div has a text in it. So every div is actually the parent container of that card 1, card 2, card 3, the text. Basically, that means that if I go into the card and set the display property to flex, and then set the flex direction. Let's not change the flex direction and justify content to center. This will put this card 1, card 2, card 3 in the middle of the row direction, and in the column, what I need to do is for the column centering, I need to set the align items to the center as well. Okay, now you know the most powerful features of the Flexbox. Of course, that's not it. There are many other properties you need to learn and practice, but this will give you a great start. I hope you liked the video. If so, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Hope to see you in the next tutorial.